This is CBS Sports Now on CBSN. More big news out of the NBA as James Harden signs the largest contract in the league's history. For more, we're joined by CBS Sports columnist and host of Reiter Than You, Bill Reiter. All right, so this contract, how big of a deal is it? Why did the Rockets sign him? And what role does his amazing beard play in all of it?
Yeah, it's a huge deal, Tony. It's the largest contract, as you said, in league history, and it really reminds us and solidifies the fact that James Harden, who the Thunder traded several years ago, is one of the game's best players, and Daryl Morey, who's one of the biggest gamblers as a general manager in the league, has come up spades. At least in this case, he will be a Rocket for a long time. They've made the playoffs every single season. That the beard has been both stylish with his facial hair and excellent on the court. He finished second this year in the MVP voting, and there's a good chance, and we'll see, that paired with Chris Paul, their new addition in this offseason, they're going to be really dynamic. What it means is if you play at the highest level that you can play in the NBA, you can become very, very wealthy. And for Houston, it's a huge reward for trading for this guy a few years ago.
All right, very good, and I appreciate you working the beard into your answer. Moving on to baseball, tonight is the home run derby. Giancarlo Stanton, big name, won last year. Can he repeat? You know,
he's a stud, and he hits mammoth home runs, but I'm actually going with the young guys in this event. Aaron Judge is actually the favorite in Vegas and leads the majors.
What a year he's
Came out of nowhere. He might win the Triple Crown this year as a rookie and maybe the MVP.
No one ever wins the Triple Crown. There's always talk about the Triple Crown. Never happens.
One time, Cabrera did in Detroit, like whatever it was, 10 years. I was there. It was magic. It was like being around for Peter Pan being real. And on the other side, I think Cody Bellinger, the young rookie for the Dodgers, who's got 20-some home runs, has been a stud. So between those two young guys, I think Stanton's going to have to watch his reign, at least for this season, come to an end.
Wow. All right, so we're at the All-Star break, halfway through the Major League season. What else stands out to you?
Other than Aaron Judge, which has been a huge surprise, there's several. First, it's kind of shocking how good the Minnesota Twins are this year. Last year, one of the worst teams in all of baseball. They've turned that around. They're a couple games behind the Indians. It's a really nice story for a small market in Major League Baseball. And Houston, which was in a rebuilding sort of situation and has some good young players, they've all found their groove right away. They're the best team in baseball, and right now they're on track to win 118, 120 games. It's ridiculous. And unfortunately, a surprise for us Cubs fans after coming off that World Series. The Cubs are decidedly mediocre, Tony, which is okay because at least we have a World Series, fans like me of the Cubs. But it's been a bit of a shock. We thought this was the beginning of a dynasty, and they've just been so-so.
So how do you explain that? I mean, what's the role of the payroll in the on-the-field performance? The teams with the biggest payroll, it sounds like, aren't the ones necessarily winning.
No, it sort of depends. Like the Dodgers are really, really good. They have a huge payroll, and the Cubs have a huge payroll and are very mediocre. I think for the Cubs, their pitching has really regressed in a pretty significant way, and their young players, those offensive guys that were the catalyst last year for that magical run, they're just not playing very well. Call it, I know people roll their eyes, it is a World Series hangover, and the Cubs are enjoying not just the big party from last October, but a pretty generous hangover this time around this season.
Well, hopefully the fans don't wake up and notice. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it.